So, welcome, beautiful souls. I have the beautiful Lexi, aka Morgana Sophia, who you can go and see her beautiful work. And I wanted to speak with Morgana to really understand what the fuck is going on right now. Because
Bold,
it's like
darling, be bold.
this is it. It's just like let's just cut the shit. Let's cut the bullshit, let the fluffiness, and let's literally just get cut right down into the darkness of this stuff. Because I shared the other week with Lexi, but basically what was going on, what had gone on for me, in terms of basically thinking there's this awakening gift of channeling, which I think there's an aspect of it, but what happened to that was that I opened up. And when I opened up, I opened myself up to some darkness too, because I have seen basically darkness is looping around light. Every portal of access that we would have had as spiritual beings, or whether we transported, wherever we did, has been infiltrated with darkness. And so when you open up, you're potentially opening up to some real dark matter too. And it's been a big learning journey for me because it's actually took me back into my heart to actually go, what the fuck am I? Who am I? What, it's like, is this right? Is this me? I mean, it was really neurologically it's attached itself right in the back of the aortus major there. And I was like, Lexi, what is going on? Because I feel for me to have experienced this, other people will. I had to move through a lot of shame about that as well, the sense of shame. And as we talked, she's like, yeah, I'm seeing this too. And so, yeah, let's jump on in and let's discuss this.
So let's really think about energy hygiene 101 because this is where it all starts. So we have our spiritual awakening and we are taught various energetic hygiene methods. And the further we go along our awakening path, we go, oh, I don't need to do that anymore. Don't need to do that anymore. I'm fine. I know I'm channeling good, blah, blah, blah. And then we're like, oh, I don't feel very well. And energetic hygiene is kind of the basis of where we all should be, regardless of where we are on our spiritual pathway. So I've had my awakening process. I think I started 2013. It's all getting a little bit hazy. So I've been 12 years on this pathway, and in the last kind of 2 or 3 years, I have been seriously practicing every morning, making sure that my energetic fields are super clear. So I have my own methods to do that. Just park those for a moment. But it really helps with your discernment. Yeah, we get to a point, and this is not you, but for us all, actually, let's be really honest, where our ego takes over. And we know and we think we've all, this is our master lifetime. So we hear a lot of people saying, this is our master lifetime. Therefore, we are awakening a lot of gifts. Therefore, we have new abilities. Yes, we do. But in that master lifetime, we also have to make sure that we are ensuring that we are bringing through messages, if we're channeling, that we are anchoring ourselves into a higher frequency. So when we talk about the dark, which I always get a little bit kind of icky about because I do a lot of shadow work and a lot of the shadow and stuff that I see is just projection. It's what we call in magic a diamond, a demon. It's daemon, not demon, but it's kind of like the shadow part of ourselves that we need to integrate. But what we're talking about here isn't about the shadowy crap that we deal with in a kind of emotional basis. We're dealing with what I would probably term more negative energies and entities
Mm.
as well. So if we use that kind of language of negative energies and entities, the more that we open up, the more that we practice our psychic skills, we do from ego occasionally forget to either close down or protect our energy. And then we become a lot more susceptible to suggestion. And in becoming susceptible to suggestion, we end up taking on entities, but on a better phrase than saying, which come and transpire as being quite good. And we work with them for a while. And then there's something not quite right. We begin to have what I would call a very codependent relationship with them, a very unhealthy relationship with them. We can only make a decision if we connect to whatever your energy is called.
Mm.
So it's about very much rambling here about being really self-responsible, being really discerning who and what we are working with, and making sure that we are just clearing our energy on.
Yeah.
I've picked up just in the same way as you. I've been working with guides. angels who have transpired as X, and actually towards the end of it, you're thinking, "Oh, I'm not really sure." But it is a process we're all going to have to go through, and there's no shame in it at all. You
Mm.
know, I'm constantly flicking off entities, so to speak, but it's having that self-realization that this isn't healthy is actually the growth that we are looking for. But we will really see on in the collective. Oh, I'm starting to rant. A lot of people bringing through energies which maybe are not aligned
Mm.
and are coming from other places, which are creating codependent relationships for them, but also codependent relationships within their community. I cannot do this until I've heard X's view on Y, and then I will
Mm.
act.
But see,
That
as you say that, that's like the whole where we gave away our power, where we gave away our sovereignty. That's, which we see that through governance, we see it through religion. But going, if we want to go back and when time fell, that's when we would have looked at projected and thinking they're more powerful than I, and so I can only connect through you. This is the process that we're having to go through, is this sovereignty, isn't it?
so you've experienced something quite recently. So I will share with you something that I very rarely share because it's such a long time ago. But when I was still in the corporate world, I followed quite a well-known teacher who's got a massive YouTube following. And I got to the point of obsession of what this person and their guide, I'm trying not to name names, were saying. You know, every video I was there on the train going into London listening to it, you know, I was getting quite obsessed
Mm.
around it. And then I realized how unhealthy, one, my attachment was to that teacher, but two, what the actual was she bringing in, because it moved from angels, which is very much where I was at that moment in time, to bringing through celebrities. And that was my trigger of, oh, hang on, what has this kind of almost sensational mediumship actually got to do with the ascension pathway? Now, I understand we've got guides all over from all different walks of life. Some of us will have famous guides, and some of us will have very mundane people who are usually incredibly more powerful and potent, actually, I have found. One of my guides can be a complete who at times, but that's because that's bringing through their characteristics of their past lifetime. So I had the same experience as you in a different way. I was obsessed and making sure that I knew what person was saying and that guide was saying as well. So that took me a long time to work through as well. And it took a lot of shame as well of like, well, why was I wasting my time? But you weren't wasting your time. You have learned a couple of nuggets of excellent gold, but actually it's about taking some self-responsibility
Mm.
and making sure and ensuring that we are not creating and adding into the energy of teachers who are there to serve. And this is the role of the teacher I've really noticed. Teachers come up, they serve, they get a following, it's amazing, their teaching is brilliant. And then suddenly there's a little glitch in the matrix, and suddenly it almost becomes like a cult-like status. They become the guru. And
Yes.
then everybody follows
Hierarchy.
them and everybody does this. And actually we're getting to a point where that can't happen anymore. That's very 3D kind of business construct as well as being kind of religious construct as well. So we're really having to, and I've seen this year a real snap, a real break where in order to access our self-responsibility, our discernment, our sovereignty, we're having to break some of these bonds because what I am seeing when I am listening to people who are channeling, I at times can really see that perhaps like you, the information that they're bringing through is either A, made up, B, happens because they've taken something,
Hmm.
C, is actually coming through from a corrupted source, and D, is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's a vast spectrum,
Yeah. And
but
I think you can't tell yourself that. You can't think yourself that. You've got to feel that. For me, it's all about what I've been shown for this process was that actually the pureness is the heart. That is the intelligence. That's the wisdom. And through this journey, as much as discomfort it has been, it showed me where to find my truth. And I've always talked about the heart and love to heal and everything else, but it was like this was this next level of discernment of like actually your innocence, your purity as a soul is always in your heart. That's untouched, the Anahata. And it showed me is that your truth comes from this. Breathe into that, breathe into the light, the waters of your body, and that will show me what my truth is. And
Absolutely.
that enabled this to distangle, to untangle.
Yeah. And it's a learning process. So this isn't like a shaming podcast. It's like we really understand it. We can't reach out to either of us because we have been there. We've done it. We've been in the trenches. We've been leaders. We've come back in. I've had some horrific experiences with spiritual coaches and teachers and gurus, and I've had some amazing experiences. So we really understand there's this such a vast range. And I think what's happened is there's been this massive consumerization and
Mm.
commercialization of spirituality. You must get this crystal, you must buy this deck. In order to do this, please can I encourage you to buy X, Y, and Z? And actually, you're right, it's that. What does your heart say?
Yeah.
What is the codes that are left within your heart? So I see it slightly differently. I see them as heart codes that every time we get to an aspect of awakening or our next spiritual, I'm trying to keep this less fluffy, upgrade, whatever you want to call it, the
Mm.
gnosis, the knowledge that we have in our hearts begins to activate again. And it's for us to stop and listen to our hearts to understand. What we also have to understand as well, sorry, Gemma, you've really got me on this morning. But we
You
had to
crack
do
on,
it.
girl.
Mercury, I think, still in Scorpio, is because completely lost my train of thought now. But also, it's really about just being discerning, really, really discerning, and understanding that spirituality, that's where I wanted to go, is not complex. You do not need the next upgrade. You do not need the next set of light codes. You do not need the next galactic intervention.
Oh, it
Drop
all,
into your heart,
yeah.
find the connection to yourself, find the connection to the divine, which, as a priestess of the stars, so I'm trained as a priestess of Arianrod as well as an astrologer. Starfire resides in our heart. All the knowledge is in there. That's where we should be looking. So then that kind of blows out very much what you and I both do as a living, but it's very much about you do not need the extra fripperies. Drop into your heart. Love is always the answer. And by having that deep connection with your heart, your soul, the divine spark, starfire, whatever you want to call it, that's how you grow. We're too busy looking externally for the answers that we've got internally.
Yeah.
Nothing is complex.
No. I mean, that's what sh showed me actually, which made me laugh. It's literally when I was in Sardinia, connecting into my heart, connecting to the sea and the ocean, and it's like it's simply being present in your heart. And I just laughed, and I just to myself out loud, probably looking like a total nutter, but it was just kind of like it's as simple as that. It's being present in your heart every time. So, like you say, you don't need all these external things to reassure you. Sometimes they're good as a little gift, as a something, as a tool to give you that confidence to go, oh yeah, I am feeling what I'm feeling. And
Yeah,
that card I've just picked up has just reassured me that to eventually you
absolutely.
don't necessarily need him from that and perspective. And I think leadership is completely different. It's not about a hierarchy on you access through me. Leadership is about showing everyone else how to access through themselves. I've done writing, it's about the temple. The temple is your mind, the temple is your body. This is what people need to be bringing you back to understanding how to access your power.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the extras are nice. And please, no one get me wrong. I pretty much pull a tarot card for myself every day. It's part of one of my little rituals. However, if everything was taken away from me now, and I only had the laptop in front of me, for example, I was on the beach and had nothing, I still got that connection into my heart. I still got, for me, the connection into Goddess. I can still use my voice to invoke what I want to bring through. And I think we also forget the power of our words as well. So, enjoy having beautiful crystals in your home. Enjoy, as I do. I mean, I do a lot of card readings as well. Enjoy having those as tools. But if you said to me now, go away and do me a reading based on nothing, I have to learn how to be able to do that. It's really basic kind of psychic. So if any of you have ever sat in a psychic circle, a mediumship circle, often it is about dropping into your heart. You spend hours and weeks meditating before you can give a reading traditionally, because you're just listening for that inner guidance, and then you're calling in your guides, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, that comes in. So, you know, you've got this amazing ability. Everyone has this amazing ability. What I want to say is, don't get distracted by the next workshop. Don't get distracted by the next training container.
Yeah.
Find
You get
someone
that
who can
FOMO, don't
help
you?
you
Feel like you're missing out.
access,
Yeah.
yeah, help you access your heart. And for a lot of my clients, I sometimes I have the answers for them through astrology, but other times it's like really sit and I start of every session, drop into your heart. Now tell me what's in your heart today. And then we work forward, because we know that we're getting this we're having a heart-led session. Before I speak to you, you
Yeah.
spend a few minutes just dropping into your heart. So it's really important that you understand you are so freaking powerful, and you need to be able to learn to access that. And you access that by dropping into your heart.
Completely.
It's
And your
not rocket
body.
science, but a lot of people are
It's
making it
not.
incredibly complex.
And that's again a bit of a distraction and distortion, isn't it, as well? And it's also you need me to help you access this to you. And it becomes like a codependency, isn't it? And it's kind of, and I'm sort of really wanting to work through this, especially as a therapist and healer and hands-on. You come in to think, I want to fix the world, and then you realize actually this isn't about me doing the work for you. This is about me bridging you to you, for you to access to your body safely, to connect to the power and the insight that's within you. It's not about you just lying on the couch and getting it all done for you. This is about the journey of inward journey of safety, so you can feel and connect deeper and deeper into your body. So for me, it's all about how deeper can I get into my body? How deeper can
Yeah.
I get my connection to earth and the power that is earth? I feel my journey is going deeper in the earth. That's what
Yeah.
I feel. So there's no ascension off, I go and float off into the clouds. This is like, no, you're going to get deeper and deeper into your
Yeah.
body to actually activate your DNA. This is the journey that I have shown since this, is that this is about the crystallization, the of our carbon DNA through
Mm.
this heart expansion.
And I love this because we're both polarities as well, because you're going deeper and deeper into the earth, whereas I am literally looking at the movements and cycles of the heavens in order to bring forward information to anchor in the kind of, and I'm not going to say galactic energy, but to understand what's going on in the heavens to help us anchor in that energy to earth. So we're holding these two polarities of the heavens and the earth.
Mm,
And then our job very much is to be the bridge in order to explain this to another person, to enable them and empower them to find their own sovereignty and own, kind of self leadership. And the most amazing thing for me is when I'm working with these clients and I see them transform through the power of astrology, through the power of leading from their heart. And it's like the biggest blessing for me is watching them at the end of their sessions going, do you know what? I don't think I need any more at the moment. I really understand what I'm doing. And then I see them fly the nest.
mhm.
But I'm not making them codependent on me. I'm kind of giving them the tools to say, do you know what? You can do this yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Astrology is very complicated at times, but the leadership from your heart is I wrote a
You're
whole
given the
damn book about the
foundation.
damn thing.
You're giving them the foundations and the understanding to
Exactly.
it, and then they'll move on to the next level, and then you've more insight that keeps coming. But each time you're
Exactly.
giving them key codes to access for themselves. That's
Yeah.
the difference. And
And we are very much, although we are leaders, I'm really struggling with the concept of leadership per se. So, just for everyone's aware, I'm an Aries, Sag rising, Sag moon. So, I'm naturally going to be, charging ahead, kind of, I'm in charge, let's get on with all this. But leadership as a word, as we move into the age of Aquarius, as we move into New Earth, I guess, is the other word that people may resonate with more, as we kind of go through this very turbulent next 300 years as we're shifting aeons. Need to read my whole book to understand that a little bit more. But leadership doesn't become it isn't a pyramid, it isn't hierarchical anymore. It is about almost going back to, the myths, legend, truth of King Arthur, where we all sit around a table.
Circle.
Everybody there has a skill. Everybody is as equal as the other. And it just so happens that when something comes up and one person has a particular skill, they are the leader at that moment in time to in order and to enable what's coming through. So, for example, we're all sat around a table, and we have a healing crisis, healing issue. We will come to you, Gemma. We're sat around the table and we want to understand the movements of the heavens or a message from Goddess. You might come to me.
Yeah.
You want to understand something from a perspective of a different kind of healing, for example, not necessarily skeletal healing, but more kind of auric healing. That could be somebody else. We could have a crystal expert. We could have someone who is an amazing
Herbal
accountant.
food, everything. Yeah.
It's all about we're all becoming equal. And this is absolutely not, before anybody starts saying, a form of socialism or communism. It is about energetic equality.
Yes.
We're all masters. Therefore, every single master has their own skill set.
Yeah, that's interesting. The words "no one gets left behind" this time came to me a little while ago, and it's because we often think, "Oh, this ascension, I'm getting out of here," kind of like, we're gonna keep rising, and the others are just gonna like, well, tough, you haven't done the work. But it's like, no, no one gets left behind. So there is this journey of, yes, we may well get ahead in terms of learning the tool sets and everything else, but we're equally here to support others to be able to access this themselves. And I think we're probably, like you say, the trailblazer is like breaking that mold. We're sort of breaking the frequency each time we're
Mm-hmm.
making these changes. And I think it's more about inspiring, influencing through inspiration. It's more about
Yeah,
the more we act in authenticity and integrity. That is the what shifts. I mean, I've
yeah.
seen it from a mum to a daughter. She's done her healing, how it shifted for the daughter, and she didn't say anything, but the daughter witnessed the shift. And so this is what we will be doing as well.
Yeah. And it's also about, no one's going to be left behind, but that doesn't stop you and mean that you've got to be the sweeper vehicle, making sure everyone's coming up. The way that I'm always shown it is I'm walking forward. You can't really see on camera, but, I have one hand behind my back, stretched out for people to hold, but I'm continuing to walk forward because we can't just stop our own souls.
Right.
Evolution, we're here to I mean, there will be some people who think they can heal everybody.
Hmm.
I'm slightly different to you. I don't think anyone left behind. I don't know. I can see a distinct schism in the energetic field. And I think there will be the ones who will kind of reincarnate into the 3D cycle, not necessarily on Earth, by the way. And those are the ones who are going to evolve. But for me, in this lifetime, actually, all we can do is be conduits and live by example and think about what is the legacy we're leaving behind in order to make sure no one's left behind. Because in two,
Yeah.
300 years, so if we look astrologically, it's not for another about 300 years that we truly enter astrologically the age of Aquarius. We're in a bit of a crossover period at the moment. So actually, no one will be left behind in the new age, but we need to set the legacy to make sure that everyone comes with us. So it could be in this
Yeah.
lifetime, it could be in the next. But yeah, I think we can't be spiritual snobs either. I'm
No,
more evolved than you
yeah,
because I've done that. We're
yeah.
humans having human experience. We're
It
spiritual beings
does.
having this human experience. We're all going to do it differently.
It does happen. People, you have this awakened, and then you suddenly go, "Well, I'm greater than now because I'm woke," or whatever it is. And it's like, but you're still no different to that next individual. And it's kind of, yeah, it's again, as soon as you start to see someone separate to you, then you're still living in that element of separation, isn't it? So it's an interesting dynamic to navigate, really, because it's trying to understand discernment, it's trying to understand your boundaries, looking at yourself as an empath, that you've taken on everybody else's responsibilities, which we mentioned before we started, is like, actually what's shown me is that empaths, and we talk about healing the world and we want to bring everybody with us, it's not actually our responsibility to do that. But it's for us to bring it in a safety in our nervous systems that we can let go of those responsibilities that aren't ours to carry, the people pleaser, and actually handle that responsibility into the void,
Hmm.
to enable those to take responsibility to pick it up if they choose to. They might not choose to, but we
So
can't, they can't do that if we're still carrying it.
exactly. And two things there. First one, I'm kind of going into spiritual snobbery. I'm better than you. It did make me laugh. I'd seen a post today. I'm better than you because I won an award for my spirituality.
That's really like altered self ego just attaching there, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
won this award, therefore I am. It's like, do you really think we should be having awards as we go into this new kind of energy? But if you really think about kind of healing people, what I'd always say to you is, what is the great work for you in this lifetime? So, in the field in which I work on, the magnum opus, the great work. What is it that you're coming here to do? Yes, you can be a healer, but healer first, heal thyself,
Mhm.
and two, then become a trailblazer to show and embody what is going on. We all have will in this lifetime. We all have our true will, what we're meant to be here to do. Yet we cannot force another to find their true will. There will be some people who will never, in this lifetime, in your lifetime, ever step onto the same path as us. And actually, we just need to look at them and go, do you know what? I really honour you. I think you're really bloody brave for continuing into the Matrix programming to allow me to go off and explore X, Y, and Z. So, what I would say to everybody is what is your will in this lifetime? Um, what would if we open a book in 500 years' time with your name in it, what is your magnum opus? What is it that you are leaving in order to leave a
Yeah.
legacy? And that's really been buzzing around my head this week is what is the legacy that we are leaving for the generations to come? And
Mm.
sometimes that can just be the last person in our family to break patterns.
Yeah. Yeah. As you're saying that, it feels like it's more like sowing a seed. It's not actually doing the whole thing. It's about
Yeah,
seeding this potential in the earth. So
yeah,
I'm seeing the vessel, the body, bringing this heaven on earth, and we're seeding it. We
yeah,
may not see in this lifetime the full growth of it, but this is what we're bringing in.
absolutely. And for some of us, we will be pattern breakers as well. So for example, there'll be a lot of women doing work around children, around their female lineage, around their daughters, like you just said, kind of, making sure that those patterns don't help. Then you'll have women like me who have chosen not to have children in order to break the entire karmic cycle of my entire family and go, that's it. That's not coming back into the population again because actually it has to stop with me. That's a very unique and personal decision. It all comes down to mitochondrial DNA and astrology, actually. But
Oh,
it is about, we've
you've
all
said
got
my
different
words there.
things.
Mitochondrial DNA. That's where I'm at. Go for it.
Yeah. So my mitochondria stops now because
Mm,
I haven't got children,
mm,
and because I've made the conscious decision that I will break patterns and cycles of karma so that they're no longer back in the collective. Essentially. So we're all doing different roles. Your magnum opus could be to be a pattern breaker, it could be to be an amazing healer, it could be to be a channel, it could be to I don't know. Rewrite accountancy to be a fantastic lawyer. It's all there. So we have to realize as well that we can be spiritual beings having a very normal
yes.
lifetime as well, because our true will, perhaps, for example, could be to bring justice. And the way that you're bringing justice is by, I don't know, representing women who have been subject to domestic violence. You might be in the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service. You might be a defence lawyer because we need those as well. So, brackets,
Yeah.
I
And
have
like you
two law
say,
degrees, so I know a little bit about it. But it's just kind of, what is it? What is it? If you drop into your heart now, what is it that you're here to do? And realize that it doesn't have to be massive. Sometimes it can be the smallest actions have the greatest ripple of impact going forward.
yeah,
And remember that whatever we're all doing, it's all equal. None of us are better than another. We're all here to play a role. We've all got knowledge. Therefore, we should not be judging each other for the role that we've chosen to take
yeah.
if we're following our
Yeah.
true will.
Which is all really interesting, isn't it? And it's actually how we will have judgment. We have these choices, we have these thoughts come up, and then it's about being objective of those thoughts. This is where I see the pattern breaker is could happen in every present moment. So every moment you have a thought and think, oh, that was a bit judgy, and but you can see it, you can feel it. And for me, it's like we are not our thoughts. This is where coming back into the darkness, we are not our thoughts unless we
Mm,
choose to be those thoughts. This is where we bring
absolutely.
consciousness in between the subconscious mind and the unconscious body that's feeding this. And so when we can go, oh, that was rather judgy, or I don't want that woman to succeed. All of a sudden, I feel jealousy because she's doing really well, because actually you're playing to a conditioning of actually if someone else has got it, you can't have it. You're playing to scarcity and all that aspects. And so, but when you have those sort of thoughts come up, be curious with them, call them
Mm,
out and go, okay, let's hear you. What have you got to say? But have it objectively so you're not thinking it's you. And then those thoughts you can go, well, I choose love, I choose peace, I choose joy, whatever it is that you want to move. And then you release that thought so it doesn't become an emotional chain that's in your body. And I have seen it actually in people's bodies, this dark matter, like a symbiote, through the spine. It comes up through the anus, up through the spine, circles like a labyrinth, fern into the pineal gland, and it feeds thoughts. It feeds negativity. And because we think it's our thoughts, we give it an emotion and then it continues that. It's a parasitic thing that feeds our thoughts. And so the whole process is actually how can we bring discernment of our mind through the portal that is our heart to go, this isn't my truth.
and that comes full circle again, doesn't it? Coming back to energetic hygiene. Because when we have things like that, when we have parasitic entities, I've seen things coming in as crabs,
Yes.
all sorts of things kind
Okay.
of stuck around chakras or just with kind of shadowy figures, things. It is about taking some responsibility. So, one, sometimes you do need someone else to help you remove entities. I know I've helped you, you've helped me. I know if I get something that's stuck, I have trusted people that I will go to. But Energy 101, the first thing I do is clear my own energy. So I am really practiced at this, so nothing shocks me anymore. But it is something as simple every day, putting yourself in a tube of white light and just asking the divine source, whoever you believe in. You don't even need to use an intermediary like, oh, Archangel Michael, clear my cords. No, go straight up to the divine source, which for me is Goddess, tube of white light, and then asking that to clear any negative energies and entities from your body and fields. If you do that, the second you're in a grump, you do that, you begin to, it becomes quite an instant process. It does take a while to start with,
Mm,
but it's like anything, it's a muscle. But you start to lift and you start to change and you start to realize, okay, that maybe wasn't me as well. So when we're in these negative mind spirals, the first thing I always do is clear myself. If I
mm,
forget, my very beautiful boyfriend, I guess he's my fiance now, actually. But anyway, if my mood has changed, the first thing he now is kind of, even though he's not remotely spiritual, he will say to me, "Have you cleared your energy?" I've
wow.
walked back in the house sometimes when I've been in London and he's gone, lady, outside, clear your energy before you come in because he can see the physical change in the body
Wow.
as well. So this is nothing to be fearful of. It's
Mm,
nothing to be shameful about at all. It happens, right? It happens to all of us. I've
mm.
picked up all sorts of crap in my lifetime, be it small energies, big energies, icky crap. So learn how to clear your energy. Find someone you trust who can help you do that as well, but start taking responsibility for yourself. So I have a lot of people asking me to take out entities. In fact, I've had two requests in the past 24 hours. Yes, of
Okay.
course, I will help you, but my first question to you is what have you done for yourself to clear your energy? One, it makes
Mm.
my life easier, and two, I really understand where you are and how much respect and love you have for yourself because you're clearing yourself. And I
Yes.
also understand if you're in ego because I don't need to clear myself. Well, actually, given everything that's going on, given everything that's going on in the astral and in the physical,
Mm,
come on, start
mm,
taking a little bit of responsibility. So the first thing I do is to take someone through how to do it on a daily basis before I can either see them remotely or go to the house and clear their house. So start taking responsibility for yourself, people. And
mm.
then ask for help when you need help.
Yeah. And I think that's what's really important as well is having the right support around you
Yeah.
because, sometimes you can't always see yourself. And so you need
Right.
somebody else to look in and call out and go, something's not right here, just like your fiance did. And which is what I was really impressed was actually we don't call him spiritual, but he's conscious. He's
Totally.
aware. Spirituality isn't about doing this, and everything else and whatever we want and dancing in
Mm,
fields and stuff, which is great, but it's also just simply being conscious. That
yeah.
is what I think spirituality is like, are you aware? Are you asking the questions of, is this of pureness? Is this light? Is this about knowing thyself? That's what Yeshua says, the oracles of Delphi said. And this
Yeah.
journey that I've been on has really taken me through the mill, but to understand myself on a deeper level. And actually it's
Yeah.
given me like another lens of bullshit to like glasses. It's
Yeah.
like I can see what is BS far more
Yeah.
than I probably did beforehand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the one thing I am going to say, this is a massive call out to anyone who's a healer, who is a therapist, who's working with someone on a regular basis. One, clear your own energy. Two, if you think a client has got an entity, either discreetly clear it yourself or someone like me, Gemma, a couple of us who can help you clear that energy. But please don't tell someone that they've got an entity in their body if you are not able to remove it themselves. I've had a client recently who's come to me going, "Oh, a particular practitioner that they've been to see for healing has told me that my other half's got an entity." Okay, so we don't say that unless we're really clear and we know how to get rid of them, or we know someone who can do it for them because it's adding like an additional layer of stress within the body of oh my god, I've got an entity, what do I do? Well, as a healer, before anyone came to my house when I used to see people, I would just discreetly clear them. If you see something in a session you're not sure about, find someone that you can trust to discuss the matter with, myself,
Mm.
Gemma, other healers, maybe a medium you can trust, but please don't just tell a client they've got an entity and do absolutely jeff all
Mm.
about it,
Very
because that
disempowering, isn't it?
actually makes the
Mm.
entity aware of what's going on, and then it becomes harder to take it out.
Oh, really? So it's not just because of the stress that you put on the person and disempowering, it also,
But by me saying, Gemma, you've got an entity, it's going to be conscious and be like, oh, they know about me, right? So I'm going to dig down into the spine. I've taken one off
oh my
my
God, you've just made me think
fiance
about,
before, and it took me ages chasing the bloody thing around his kind of the lower back because it was a conscious and aware that it was going to be removed. So
mm,
just be mindful what you're saying to people as well. And if you're not sure, get some help. Please don't leave a client with. So this
yeah,
client going to be sat over Christmas thinking I've got an entity because one, I can do some remote work for it. Two, but they actually want me to come and clear the house. So actually,
yeah.
are
That's so
you
interesting.
adding to someone's well-being by telling them
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Clear it
It's
and
just,
tell them. But
yes.
if you can't clear it, tell them to go and see somebody else. But don't just go, you've got an entity, thanks very much. That's 50 quid for whatever chiropractic treatment you've just had.
You'd think if you could see it, you would be able to get rid of it. I would have thought you would, if to be able to see something, surely you also have the skills then to,
But
are you
Gemma,
actually seeing it then?
not everybody wants to go where angels fear to tread.
Okay, that's the
And
thing.
I am, and you are a little bit more unique in the fact that I deal with all sorts of dark matter, shall we say, negative energies. They do not phase me. I can walk into a house to clear a house, it's got energies in it, doesn't bother me. It's
Mm,
kind of part of my kind of weird, freaky, kind of kinky, I quite enjoy it kind of work. But not everybody wants to do it because it's dark.
yeah.
And because how many times have we been told that, oh, we really shouldn't trust people because they're just dark? So, for example, if I told you every day I practice ceremonial magic, I have a deep connection into Goddess, there'll be someone listening now going,
Well,
oh
because
my
it's been
God, she's
conditioned to
dark.
fear it. It's the power that people have been conditioned to fear.
Power. you really think about some of the very famous magicians and well-known characters, trying not to name them. And oh my God, they're devil worshippers. No, they're not. They're just understanding how to bend and manipulate will to achieve an outcome. That's
Mm,
manifestation, people.
yeah, that's interesting. And also, it's fear, so fear will attach to fear. And going back to my thing, you're obviously going in there very connected into self, and there isn't the fear of it, but the fear of it will connect. This is all about frequency and resonance, isn't it? And I know that what attached to me when I talk about ego, I'll call it more altered self. It was that fear I'm not enough. It attached to that, like all of a sudden there's something a little bit more special about me. Didn't know that, but I look at it back now, and it's like that's what it attached to. That
Yeah.
I'm not enough. And
But I'm not enough, but I'm special because oh look, I can now do. And we both done it. So we're now I've got a new dialect of light language coming through. Oh my
yeah,
God, I'm so
yeah.
special. And it's
And it's
like
so interesting.
actually
It's called, they call
being
it light codes. This is light codes. You're channeling light codes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm channeling light codes. It's like, I'm not. The light codes that you need is in your heart, is in the sun, is in the moon, is in the earth. You
yeah,
don't need anything else. And so it's quite interesting. That is what quite a few are probably attaching to, thinking they're channeling light codes.
yeah.
I'd be questioning that one.
And then it's this feeling of being special again, isn't it? We're coming back to it's feeding the ego
Yeah. And
a
it
lot.
takes a lot to turn around and go, you know what, my ego's playing out there. I can see it for what it
It's
is.
an incredibly strong person to go, hang on, something's not right.
Mm, yeah.
And
And be honest
these
about it.
energies,
Mercury, talking, truth is what breaks you out of that whole shame cycle.
yeah. And a lot of people won't do that because there's been such a download and influx of information. When the information stops, people panic. And that sometimes it does, right? So we're in quite a quiet, energetic period. In fact, we're coming up to solstice as we're recording. Yes, there's information coming through, but sometimes there's not a lot of coming through. So people may be going to, careful what I say, maybe going to enhance their clairvoyance, not through meditation, not through working with crystals, but maybe, drinking something, eating something,
Thank
or they plant or pharmaceutical basis in order to get more information. That is often where it opens up
Yeah.
and anything can come through. So, for example, if you're doing plant medicine, it's not my thing. You would have to do it in a very controlled environment, a very safe space where you are held, where someone is clearing the energetic field.
Yeah.
If, for example, you might be taking something recreationally in order to enhance your vision and bring through the next set of light codes, that is when drugs essentially distort what's going on. So magicians for years have used things like hashish, and all sorts of things to open up, but they would have also cleared their energy on a regular basis. Some people will be taking stuff and just being like, oh my God, I can't believe I've got this. I can't believe I've got that. But that's when the energies can attach
Yeah.
into it as well. So I am not a experimenter. I do drink cacao as a plant medicine, but for me,
Hmm.
we don't need to anymore. We can just keep our energetic purity. So just really thinking about situations which may or may not have opened up your energetic fields who receiving something that isn't
Yeah.
entirely
This is really
pleasant.
about the next heart opening, which is this next heart awake of like really discerning what is pure and
Yeah.
what is not. And we are literally on this tipping point. And I'll share as you talk about the solstice as well. It's the 2 years ago, I did that return to innocence,
Oh yes, I
coming
remember
up
that.
solstice, and I saw 4 years. So literally, we're coming up at the very center point. So I'm seeing it as the tipping
Mm,
point. And this is literally where we are going, fear or love. This is literally where we're shifting. We had
yeah,
Yeshua, we had all this calling in responsibility of all past lifetimes, but also the innocence that was held within the earth and this sovereignty, this solar acclamation. But what I'm really seeing, I feel like I keep seeing 2112. It keeps popping up on the clock everywhere. So it feels quite a strong message again. But like you say, this isn't about taking on more activation. all I'm seeking right now is I just want to hibernate. I just want to
Yeah.
literally go into a cocoa bean and disappear into the earth. That my heart, when you said tune into your heart, what does it need right now? It's like it just needs stillness. It doesn't want
Yeah.
anything else. I don't need to be doing anything else. I need to be still.
And this is where the problem is. We are so in the run up to Christmas, let's be really honest, whether you celebrate it or not, we're in that run up. December is always manic. This should be, and where we would have been very much in an introspective place, would have popped out for solstice. But the Scorpio season, Sagittarius season for me is very introspective, yet we are being forced against the grain to
Yeah,
be super active all the time. So, can you be a real heart-led rebel and kind of just quiet down
yeah,
and slow down? Because that's what we really, really need. But there's no money in that, remember?
no. And I feel like by doing that, you are purely you are taking our nervous systems out of this system, out of the matrix, out of the patriarchal. As much as it's going against the grain, not doing it, actually you're in total alignment in yourself doing it. And that again is another pattern breaker. But it's our neural systems are so wired up to that it's untrue. And so you have to keep this regular practice of just I need to do less. I need to do
And
less.
don't forget, if you're truly connected and working with the cycles of Earth, you are in a place of stillness. The Earth is dying at the moment. So
Yeah.
we should be metaphorically dying to be rebirthed at solstice and then still have the quiet time to come back out at Imbolc when the light truly returns physically as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is letting go of the self, letting go of these entities, whatever it
Yeah.
is, whatever we want to do. It's just letting go of all these old layers, these old skins, these old
Hmm.
patterns to truly now, when we want to step forward new next year in the spring,
Yeah.
actually stepping forward to who we truly choose to
Yeah.
be.
So really spending these dark winter months communing with your heart, not on social media, not reading extra things, not going to any other, events, for example, that are going to activate you further, just dropping into the portal of your heart and really, really listening. And I've been doing a lot of readings for 2026, and most of the readings are actually saying to people, get off the bloody treadmill and start listening to what your soul's calling you to do. So here I go. I'm offering you the choice to rest and listen between now and February, or do you want to be run ragged?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you, my love. Thank you for sharing your insight and
Pleasure.
stuff. And it's an absolute pleasure to be able to have these sort of really open conversations. I think this is what we need more of. And because we're
Yeah,
still living a human life through this, and we have to honor that as well, don't we? So thank you,
absolutely.
gorgeous.
Thank you, darling.
All right. And if anybody wants to get to sort of reach out to you, what's the best way?
Best way either on Instagram or Facebook at Morgana Sophia Astrologer or hello at morganasophia.com.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, people, for listening and have a beautiful, beautiful rest in our winter time. All right. Take care.
Bye.